Alright, so this is going to be a long video and it will be kind of part list video but also part storytime video. So I'll be telling some stories mixed in with the entries. Also, I've decided to not change my channel name since I think I'll only be featuring my brother on my channel every now and then. Like once a month maybe, as I've decided against the whole shared channel aspect. So if you're a motorcycle guy, just go subscribe to his channel instead. Anyways, on with the video. Knowing trims is very important for first-time buyers, especially college students. Over and over again, you've probably heard horror stories from your coworkers who got ripped off at dealerships by several thousands. Even though dealerships are definitely scummy people, it's partially the buyer's fault for being so uninformed. Trims normally include a whole bunch of fancy options ranging from performance, comfort, and cosmetics. When you see the MSRP given on most car websites, 99% of the time, it's the base model. A base model car is a car with no extra options or features. If you have no idea what the hell I'm talking about, let me give you an example using the car I own. The 2016 Mustang is offered with 4 engine options: 4-cylinder turbo marketed as EcoBoost, V6, Coyote V8 in the GT, and the Voodoo V8 in the Shelby GT350. Let's say we pick the GT. The Mustang GT also is a performance pack option for the enthusiast drivers. You can also buy a GT Premium, which means it'll have leather seats, GPS, and just an overall better interior. And finally, the model I have, California Special, has cosmetic features such as a chin splitter, black painted mirrors, hood vents, and a spoiler, while also having everything the GT Premium has as well. My car also has turn signals on its hood vents, which are easily the most useless quirk and feature I've ever seen on any car, but hey, they're there. You need to know exactly what model and trim in mind when you go to buy a car at the dealership. Don't ever tell yourself that the people at the dealership are going to help you, because they are not. If they see you don't know anything about cars, they'll easily sucker you into purchasing a car for several thousand over. I once met an old gentleman who recently bought a 2017 Mustang EcoBoost Premium, and when I opened my hood and he saw my engine was different, he literally was confused as hell. He had no clue Mustangs had different engines. He also spent 34 grand on his EcoBoost. He told me he apparently just walked into a dealership and asked them what their most option out Mustang they had on the lot was. So the dealership literally gave him the most expensive Mustang on the lot, which was his EcoBoost, and the guy bought it no questions asked and left the lot. Most dealerships here in Indiana normally don't even carry GTs because it's very hard to sell V8 cars in an area that isn't populated densely by car enthusiasts. So because of this, they only sell EcoBoost and V6 models, and maybe, if you're lucky, a few base model GTs. If you knew what he was looking for, he easily could have used 34 grand to buy a GT Premium. He could have bought an EcoBoost for 26 grand easily, which would have saved him $8,000. Speaking of not even knowing Mustangs have different engines, some people straight up don't even know their engine in their own car. I was talking with one of my former residents a month ago, and he was telling me about a used 2016 Honda Accord he just purchased. He told me that he got an amazing deal on it, and the previous owner had modded the car by adding this very advanced system called VTEC onto the car's V4 engine. Yep, he said V4 instead of I4. This is a very common mistake that a lot of people make. Most 4-cylinder cars are inline 4s, not V4s. V4s are mostly used in motorcycles and very rarely featured in cars, but there are some. The worst part was when I tried to correct him, he looked at me like I was the asshole and showed me his engine bay. The cylinders make a V shape, he said, so it must be a V4. I told him that isn't what V means and proceeded to show him why V engines are actually called V. They are called V because the engine block and cylinders form a V shape in this manner. I then corrected him by also telling him that he didn't get a good deal on his car because VTEC isn't a super awesome mod. He literally thought VTEC was a turbo. I kid you not. So the person got him to pay more for a feature that wasn't half as cool as he thought it was. He was one of those guys who loves to talk about all the amazing deals and discounts they get on stuff, and for the most part he was getting amazing deals on all kinds of electronics. But buddy, if you're watching this video, don't try to correct a car enthusiast about cars. You got ripped off on this one, plain and simple. Cars aren't an iPhone or an Xbox One. You didn't do enough research on this one. Everyone should know how to change their own tire on their own vehicle. Sure, my Mustang GT doesn't even have a spare tire to begin with, but it's still nice for me to know how to change it. I'll only help if I'm within direct vicinity, like if I was a passenger in the car. Otherwise, you, the driver, need to learn how to do it yourself. My brother's girlfriend called me when I was sleeping and asked if I could help her change the tire on her car. Now I wasn't about to go wake up, get dressed, and drive my car while half asleep, to which I just sighed and said, yeah, I was just too tired to be bothered with. She then told me that she already had someone coming on the way anyway. What? Why bother calling me if you already had someone coming? So I hung up and went back to sleep. By the way, Jason, if you're watching this, I'm done wingmanning for you. It's been 6 years, buddy. Nope. She's your girl, so you take care of her. You know how people say it's better to teach someone to fish instead of giving them fish? I could help friends change tires all days, but it's just better they learn how to do it themselves. Before I get started with this entry, I want to address a comment that I find way too often in my comment sections from my European viewers. We use AKI in America, not RON for our gas. So our 93 is actually about equal to your guys' 98. So when you hear me mention 93, just tell yourself I'm saying 98 instead, alright? Putting the right gas in your vehicle is very important for ensuring a long lifespan for your car and overall just spending less money on maintenance. However, there was a video made by CBC News that apparently debunked the myth of using premium gas. I honestly can't believe how viral that video has gone and how horrible the misinformation it spread was. For a non-car guy who's only owned a Toyota Camry their whole life, they won't notice the difference between premium and regular gas. Truth is, just run the recommended gas that your car manual tells you to. Yep, that's right, you'll have to do some reading after this video if you don't know what that is. Bust open that manual and see what it is and read it in depth. If your car recommends 87, then run 87. Adding premium gas to a car that doesn't explicitly state performance gains will not actually increase its performance. If your car only states it needs 87 and doesn't benefit from premium, don't run premium. If it notes that premium will give it better performance, then that's a trade-off you'll have to negotiate with yourself. Do you want better performance or spend less money? On the flip side, if your car only recommends premium, don't run anything else. Putting 87 when a car only recommends 93 can be disastrous in the long run, so don't cheap out. Alright, so this last entry will actually be me lightning rounding a whole bunch of stuff that everyone should collectively know about general car maintenance. Ready? Here we go. How to check tire pressure. Most modern cars can check their own tire pressure, but you should still know how to do the traditional method in case you're not driving your personal car. Also, sometimes technology derps up and the sensors can be lying to you, so check manually anyways. How to check oil. Once again, modern cars can tell you its oil condition, but almost every car should feature a dipstick to check it manually, and I'd still recommend doing that. Also, side note, Ford, this is the most unintuitive location for a dipstick ever. Let your car warm up a bit before driving. For older cars, this can be several minutes, but for most newer cars, like from 2000 and beyond, it should only take 10 to 15 seconds. Checking fluid levels. Whether it's the wiper fluid, coolant for the radiator, transmission fluid, or brake fluid, make sure you're keeping up. Also, this isn't really maintenance, but everyone should know how to jumpstart a car. With that said, if you're a non-car enthusiast, I hope you've learned something from this video. But for all my enthusiasts, I hope you found the stories entertaining as I threw them in, because I know you guys are the real MVPs and already know everything on the list. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, and share it with others who are in need of this information. Thanks for watching, Blade Angel out.